involvement in Iraq. The average casualty had a tourniquet on for 60 to 70 minutes. Nobody lost a limb. 91% of casualties had tourniquets on for less than 2 hours. Nobody lost a limb. There's a study of 200 World War II tourniquets that were put on for 2 to 4 hours, and they didn't have any problems. Although that was a little bit of luck. Those tourniquets are very different than the ones we have now. And again, as I said, these are routinely used in orthopedic surgical suites all over the world with no issues. So let's talk about improvised tourniquets first. This is a standard, quote, stick and rag cravat tourniquet taught by the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts and all sorts of organizations. So here's my leg. It's kind of point of view shot there. The arrow would indicate where our penetrating trauma and massive hemorrhage was. And we're going to put on an improvised tourniquet. We said it needs to be 2 to 3 inches wide. Okay, we've got that. That cravat is. And that tourniquet needs to go 2 to 3 inches proximal above the wound, between the wound and the casualty's torso, heart, however you want to think about that. Why do we need to be 2 to 3 inches above? Why not right over the hole? Well, we talked about the fact that your arteries are stretchy, like surgical tubing. And if we cut them, they can snap and pull back. So to make sure that we get the end of that artery, we need to go upstream a little bit. We need to be 2 to 3 inches above or below a joint. You can't put a tourniquet right on a joint. We're going to tighten this tourniquet until the bleeding stops. Some people say until the bright red bleeding stops, until the spurting blood stops, until the blood slows down. I'm a black and white person. I tell my wife that I think compromise is when no one gets what they want. I put a tourniquet on for massive hemorrhage. It's put on properly in the right location, and it's tight enough until there is no massive hemorrhage, period. Bleeding stops. That's my goal. The first tourniquet we're going to talk about is the combat application tourniquet. This is a 6th generation. These are no longer being manufactured. The only thing you're going to find now from the company directly is the 7th generation. As I mentioned at the beginning of the course, I have no medical disclosures, meaning no one pays me for anything. No one likes my opinion because I hate everything, and I'll tell you the problems with all of these items. That being said, the medical literature clearly supports the CAT tourniquet as the most combat-proven tourniquet, period. This tourniquet should come out of the package already pre-staged to go on your arm. What that means is it's got the loop through the closest eyelet. That then allows you to slip it on your arm like a sleeve, pull all the slack out of it, and then push all the Velcro down. Obviously, I don't want to put Velcro over the windlass until I've tightened it. This is actually fairly snug right now, but again, it's a venous constricting band, not a tourniquet. It doesn't become a tourniquet and occlude arterial flow until I start twisting it. And at this point, we've got no arterial flow. I know that because I can feel a good throb against the tourniquet, much like a blood pressure cuff feels. And now I have to complete the tourniquet application by putting this retaining band over the windlass. If that windlass kicks out, all the tension on the tourniquet will be lost, and there have been some people that have died that way despite initial hemorrhage control. Subsequently, they went to the 7th generation that has no double eyelet. We talked about 2 different CAT tourniquets. We'll start with the 6th generation, which is no longer being manufactured, but they are among the most common versions. Remember, they're going to come out of the package prepped in a way to be put on you, on your own limb. We've already seen how to do that. We can use that same technique on his arm, whether it's our arm or his arm, doesn't really matter all that much. If this is care under fire, we're going as high in the arm as possible. If it was tactical field care phase, we're going to go 2 to 3 inches above his wound. It does not become a tourniquet until I twist it several times and then snap it in place. This is the 1-inch wide soft T. We saw this in the slide series. This is no longer being manufactured. It's been replaced by the soft T wide, which is 1.5 inches wide. But there are plenty of agencies still carrying it. It was replaced by the soft T wide. They made the band 1.5 inches wide as opposed to 1 inch. That certainly is an improvement. This is another unfortunate photo. This is from an unarmored vehicle that was shot up on Route Irish in Iraq many years ago. The PSD, the private security team that was in this vehicle, the passenger got shot and had a femoral artery laceration. You can see the 3 holes through the unarmored door there. He exited the vehicle in between 22 and 25 seconds, and so all that blood came out of his femoral artery laceration in less than 25 seconds. Is that massive hemorrhage?